Hello and welcome to all the ghouls and vampires out there. I'm Joe, here with me is my co-host Dan.
Hello and greetings.
And welcome to Scream for Scream, our in-detail analysis of Halloween 4, where we'll be examining every shot of this film in such excruciating detail, you'll basically want to either watch the movie or never hear about it again, or both.
Or go to watch our other content.
Yes, which actually please do, and also subscribe to all our channels. Enough plugging. The movie of Halloween 4 starts off on October 30th, 1988, 10 years to the day, well, almost to the day, after the first Halloween, or the first two, actually. This movie got launched into production after the disaster that was Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. One of the worst horror movies in history, and one of the biggest commercial flops in horror film history, which anyone who's seen even 2 seconds of that film will understand why. It's sad that they didn't continue with the anthology idea, which I do think that would have been really cool. But the problem is they lost confidence in the idea because, the story they did try to do was really, really dumb and sucked. So they decided to reboot it, except they said, how about we do Michael Myers again? So with that in mind and an impending writer's strike, they wrote a script in under 11 days. And honestly, it's the greatest Halloween script of all times. So that the first shot of this film is already spooky in a way that the other movies never were. They just simply have the wind playing as you have a farm field and a farmhouse just with the wind drifting as you've got the introductions and the credits. Then we see a mailbox with a shadow face of sorts or ghost face on it. Right there, that's great. The color black, of course, in Western civilization represents death. And from there, we drift onto several other fields and we get a shot of a ghost ornament. In Asian mythology, white is the color of death, but in the West, white is the color of innocence. So in that regard, this is the perfect final shot before the introduction of the title itself for this movie, because innocence and death and the corruption of innocence is going to all play a major role in this movie. So already this movie is hinting visually at the entire story of this film.
The death of innocence.
That's the theme of this film. I like to regard Halloween 1, 2, and 4 as one trilogy, and Halloween 5 and 6 are almost a separate thing from Halloween 4. They really have very little to do with Halloween 4. They butcher Halloween 4, but if you separate this movie from those two, you have with 1, 2, and 4 perfect trilogy and the perfect launch into a new saga. But of course they didn't actually do that, sadly. When it comes to this sequence, it's spooky. They don't have music, they just have the sound of the wind, and it just sounds like death itself, rattling and threatening everyone. Honestly, this is probably one of the spookiest intros.
It looks grayish, as if an impending storm coming.
We also get us a few rundown houses and shacks in between the mailbox and the ghost. That's where there's also a lack of color outside of black, white. Yeah, you have gray, but you also have the farmhouse and whatnot, and all the buildings which seem either this grainy brown color or gray. And the tree actually, upon which the ghost is hanging, actually looks fairly black, and it looks almost dead.
Like someone hung themselves from that tree.
Yeah, but it also looks like the tree itself is an ominous figure, menacing the viewer. This is a great opening sequence. The best opening sequence in this franchise's history, and the most menacing, as you almost get the feeling of someone holding a knife over you, which that's how it should feel.
That uncomfortable silence.
Yeah, but also just an uncomfortable sense of oppression. And the sense of oppression is going to haunt this movie from beginning to end. And haunt is quite the right choice of word there for this movie. But there's a sense of doom in the movie, which I really like. This is not going to be a weird trip like the third movie. It's not a almost happy-go-lucky movie like H2O. It's not the killer kind of movies that the first two were. This is a movie which is a tragedy. It hammers the point home with every shot, in my opinion.
Yes, and this is how you set the mood for
a good horror film. I don't think I've got much more to say about this.
Seems to cover everything we noticed.
And if you want to see and hear more about our analysis of this film, do hit that like and that subscribe button, as that'll help the channel. And don't forget to have a great day, and until next time.